Welcome everybody to Lifestyle After Five, the newly rebranded agenda coming strong. We got a great lineup. Of course, I got co-host and my fam, MDRedd with me holding it down.
Going on, people?
We
Yeah,
got Louis Q moderating, doing what he do. And today, you've seen him before on After Five, the podcast. We had him before. This man has dropped knowledge and he has changed lives. He's changed my life personally and helped me. If you're a veteran, you need to know who he is. This is none other than Mr. JReid, what we call him.
appreciate that, Ali. Appreciate that. Redman, hello, Rashawn, Shu, Ali. Thank you guys so much for taking the time out to host me on here and have me kind of promote what we're doing. Again, this is brand new for us. Me and my wife, this is our first company we started. I never started the business before, and I think we're going on the right path because again, Ali can tell you the VA process and the claims process and all that. It's pretty tough. A lot of it, you can see what's out there. People go to lawyers, they go to VSOs, and I don't discourage any of that. I will never tell veterans not to go seek help if they can get help there.
I'm
But a
gonna
lot of
tell
the
you, don't go seek an attorney. I'll do
time,
it. You
I'm gonna
better
keep it PG, but I'm gonna let Ali tell from his experience. But we'll get to that
in
too.
my experience, attorney get paid by the back pay, and he's gonna kick your case down the line. He's not gonna solve. There's no incentive for an attorney to sell your case quickly. So if he can take 5 to 10 years selling your case, he's gonna do that. He or she's going to do that.
Yeah, because they get
No,
more
no,
money.
no, no lies that happens, and in his case, that's where he was. I think it was like 10 years you were waiting for your help
Yeah,
for your
over
claim.
10 years.
Yeah,
And
so we and let me go back. Like I said, you got to know where you came from to know where you're going. So, the reason and the way we met through a former employer I used to work for, the ACI. Ali, he was kind of stuck with what was going on with his sleep apnea claim. Same thing. The lawyers they pretty much probably send you a Christmas card every year. That's about it, right?
I didn't even get that.
Yeah, let's see. I've some
You know, they
you
still,
got you
and
got
we'll talk about it
disenfranchised,
later in
man.
the thing. They actually still robbed me for the fee.
Really?
Yeah.
And see, that's the thing. Again, I'm on here and I want to make it very clear. I'm gonna give my disclaimer. Our company, we're not accredited, we're not VSOs, we're not DAV, we're not any of that.
What's
My
the name of your
background,
company, by the way?
huh?
Before we go too far, introduce your company before we go any
Yes,
further.
absolutely. Our company is called Reidinhealth, and that's Reid as in my last name, Reidinhealth Incorporated or Reidinhealth Inc. And again, it's myself and my wife, and we both have a background in healthcare, and we both have a background in assisting in consulting veterans in their claims process. I was doing it for a little bit longer, brought her on, and she's been doing it for about a couple of years now, and she's awesome. I don't know if you're a part of some of those groups out there in certain other arenas, but our name is pretty much always on there. We take care of our veterans, and it's not just a claim for us. Like we from point A to point B, no matter where you're at in the process, we meet you where you are. And not only that, we take care of the whole person. Before we went live, we were talking about Ali was talking about his life change. It's that not just the money every month in your bank account. The benefits are great as well, but it's that peace of mind that you have that most of us veterans have a lot of anxiety because we're thinking about the future. Okay, I have this back injury, or I have this PTSD, or I have this X, Y, or Z, and I can't do this job I'm doing much longer. Or they're talking about firing me because I blew up at my supervisor, or I'm falling off because I'm too sick all the time from X, Y, or Z conditions that my military service caused. So morally, legally, and ethically, what we do is try to get you that increase on your benefits or even get you on the board. Because some people 20, 30, 40, I had a guy 50 years at 0%. Lawyers,
wow,
it was impossible. VSOs, the VA, everyone. This guy was only in the military for 2 months, but he got out because of mental health. Everybody told him he wasn't in long enough. Guess what? Got him, told him, hey, let's file this claim. You have it on your DD-214. I don't care what these lawyers said. I got you covered. Guess what? After 50 years, this dude went from 0%, guys, to 100 P&T in 2 months. Done.
All right,
Can
let me
attest to that.
ask you a question. I keep hearing y'all say veterans.
Yeah.
Is it only for veterans that your service is for?
Yes, as of right now, it's pretty much veteran based because veterans are the ones right now that's needing the help with understanding their symptoms. Or, for instance, my wife, she's a respiratory therapist. A lot of people may not know what that is, but they're pretty much the people that were saving everybody's lives during COVID, the ones by their ventilators, giving you the treatments, all that. So, with that, she has that background, I have that background, but right now we're pretty much dealing with veterans because veterans need help with their claims. That's a lane it's a void pretty much. Like Ali can attest to that. Bumping your head, the trying to. So the process is not hard; it's complicated, if that makes sense, right? And that's
Going to
just
get denied.
I totally does because
Basically,
I'm actually dealing with the same situation. I'm not a veteran, but I mean,
right.
with disability the same way.
Yeah. Social Security, SSI and all that stuff. And I'm glad you brought that up because that's why, like I said right now, as a baby company, we're doing this as far as the claim process, getting on board, getting our clientele. But veterans need help, and other civilians too need help in other arenas that still have to do with benefits. And that's something that why in the name is not saying veterans anything or VA.
Right. I get it.
Exactly. We're healthcare providers and we want to branch out and help people like yourself get through that bureaucracy. I don't want to call it red tape because it is what it is. We can't change it.
That's definitely what it is.
Right. But I can only say what I can say. So
right.
I can tell you from my experience on the civilian side of that, the VA it doesn't matter how right you are, how obvious your claim is, the VA is going to deny you.
I'm gonna take it a step further. I hear you on that. I'm gonna do you one better. It's not that the VA is out to get us and the VA is just gonna deny us. A lot of the times, it's almost like I tell my veterans all the time. Think of it like court. It's not always what's true. You could be completely innocent, guys, and all the evidence is there. Whatever else, it's what you can prove. What is true is not what matters with the VA, is what you can prove. And a lot of times veterans will have, for instance, sleep apnea in one case or headaches or whatever for 20 years. They're filing claims and getting denied and not knowing why. Reason being, the VA will treat them for the condition. They'll give them a CPAP machine. They'll give them medications. And the veterans will think, well, that'll automatically qualify me for benefits, right? No, they'll treat you for it. They'll diagnose you with it, but they will not admit that they caused it. So in that sense, you got to go now and go ahead. Unless you want to interject there. Go ahead.
No, I said that because then, like in my case with my claim, you all laid mine out beautifully. I had medical journals referenced of what caused it as a secondary condition. It was
Right.
laid out in articles. I had a medical practitioner, I guess I call it. Not sure if that's the proper term, but I had a medical statement, a nexus letter for those in the military that know. I had a medical nexus that tied my condition together as a secondary condition, and we went to the board and to the judge, and of course, the judge always kicks it back to the VA
Right.
because it wasn't in my medical records. Because, like I said, let's face it, most of us don't know what sleep apnea was. I didn't know what sleep apnea was the whole time I was in the military. I thought, how am I supposed to know that I'm stopped breathing? I just thought snoring was normal. I didn't really know the medical thing of, no, that's sleep apnea and it's very dangerous and that you just stop breathing or whatever in the middle of your sleep. Who knew that? We never taught that in school. So of course, you snore, but you're not going. And then if you do snore, it's not something that I knew that I could go to the doctor to even be treated for.
Exactly.
But with all that, I had letters that went back and everything. Do you know the VA when the judge kicked it back to the VA still denied it and said, "No, it's not in your medical record. We don't see no signs of it ever been treated." It was into. I wish I should have kept that. I got that letter somewhere. The judge pretty much came back and ruled, I told you not to count and bring up the fact that it wasn't in his medical records. but I want you to make a decision based off the evidence that he has laid out and has proven to you. You have not disputed this. And basically, just like, and if you have not, can't do this, you're not qualified to evaluate claims. It came
Mm.
right back, bam. I think I was something like, at that point, I think you got me, I think I was like 80 or 90% or something like that.
So
And this man ain't lying. He said, quick. So I was like, I was telling him then, I was like, well, I got this other claim in the works.
we're gonna wait
Yeah, I'll be get to 100 later. He's like, no, man, I have you 100 in a few months.
fast.
I never will forget this day, man. That was November. You told me that. You told me that in November. I was at work one day, January, and I was picking up my phone. I was at work. I picked up my phone, and I went to check the status of my claim, and it blinked out. And as I was checking it, it blinked out. I'm like, this is weird. What's going on with my claim? And so I logged back out and I waited a few minutes and I logged back in and that bad boy jumped up to 100%. I almost fell out of my chair. I'm like, look at this dude go. This dude, man, it wasn't even 3 months.
Yeah, it's one of those things too, where it's like once you go through the process, because what he was saying just now is actually true. He was like, after this, if this don't work out, we're gonna do this claim and this claim, because we're so used to taking the L's, right? Like we don't expect it to come back and all that stuff. So when I told him, like, look, you have what you need, it's just you needed somebody to connect the dots for you in the right way.
Yeah.
These other entities, they have skin in the game for it to take however long it wants to take, because again, it's when you go in front of the VBA or whatever, that can take years, sometimes almost a decade, and sometimes more. So
Mhm.
that whole time your claim is there marinating or whatever you want to call it, that back pay is sitting there. So when it finally gets approved, that's 30 sometimes more percentage of your back pay that they come back and say, hey, I'm that dude that was your lawyer that you hired, but you never heard from this whole time.
Yeah, I
Lately,
want
that
to get paid now.
with the Birdman hands, they rubbing together. They just
Yeah, and that's what they do. They come in. I tried to challenge that, but the VA actually screwed me over in there because I had counseled them prior to getting with you. He released me, and yeah, they still held his portion, his 20%. And I fought and put in a claim, and VA sided the claim, and they won't even send me a letter. I'm still fighting that right now. Like, well, how you gonna decide the claim against this, and you won't even justify this or send me a letter?
yeah, we may have to talk after this offline,
Yeah,
man.
we need to talk
Because
on this.
why I made a disclaimer at the beginning, even though we're not accredited agents or DSOs and all that, the medical background, I'm a nurse, I have my bachelor's degree and all that stuff. I am credentialed to deal with regular civilians and veterans and advise them and consult them under the law, under the VA. I'm good to go. Other companies out there are just kind of faking the funk, if you know what I mean, and taking advantage of these veterans. And with what he was saying, the key to it is that medical evidence, that nexus letter he was talking about, that independent medical opinion, if you're going for something like mental health and stuff like that. The great part about what we do is us being healthcare, we have the flexibility to reach out and have specific doctors and vet them and make sure they're not these doctors that's going to be like the VA or going to try to take advantage of these veterans and charge them some ridiculous amount for a Nexus or an IMO. And in my experience, that they should be in a certain price range. Trust me, doing our research for our company, we found some vultures out there, and it's not okay. They know there's a need, and they know these veterans are desperate, which we are. When you're stuck at 90 or you're at zero and your family's looking at you looking for healthcare, you just had a baby or you just got married or whatever the case may be, life is not going to slow down and just stop, because those aches and pains, those back issues, that mental health, you snapping at your kids or your dog or your spouse because you're so stressed out all the time, or you didn't deal with that mental health issue from those deployments or whatever it may be. All that stuff comes together in taking care of the whole veteran, not just getting that money, but helping save marriages. I can't tell you how many veterans came to me after and said, you know what, that money's cool, those benefits are great, but I haven't spoken to my kids in 20 years. And now that I understand that it's not me, that I just woke up one day and I'm crazy, it's just ringing in my ears from me hearing mortars 2, 3, 4 years straight getting deployed. And now I have this constant ringing. I don't get sleep. I wake up, I'm irritable, because you and I both know, all of us here, if you ain't sleeping, you're gonna get grumpy. So the kid, and you snapping at them for some juice spilling on the table when it's not a big deal. You know what I mean? So you feel me. And even though it becomes our normal, and they just, oh, that's just that, he didn't get any sleep or whatever. It's not normal. We shouldn't be reacting like that to things like that. And that's what I'm saying is we try to get better to understand their symptoms, and that second or third or fourth wife that they should have been staying with number one, they end up going all the way back, saying, you know what, she was right. It can't be, everybody can't be crazy. Something must be wrong with me. Then they go crying. I say, go back with your tail between your legs and apologize to that woman or apologize to that man and let them know, hey, look, man, I didn't understand why I was reacting the way I was reacting. I didn't understand why I was always hypersensitive. I didn't understand why I didn't want to be touched or whatever, because I got beat up in the barracks and I had a sock party, or I got assaulted or whatever, and then they can't have normal relationships and they don't know why. You know what I'm saying? So it's deeper than just the claims part of it. I get to use our background and kind of help veterans, and again, we want to branch out and do other things eventually and make this whole Reidinhealth Inc. thing something that helps people, period. But right now in our wheelhouse and what we do, we help veterans. And that medical evidence is another thing we can point you in the right direction.
That's hard to come by because doctors do not want to help you out, and the VA is not going against themselves to try to help you with this.
No lies detected, brother. That's why we really dug in and we did our research, and because we're used to dealing with doctors. So the typical layperson will see a doctor's credentials and may see, oh, this doctor says that they have I give you an example. True story. So I reach out to this doctor and I'm like, hey, look, I have this company we're starting. We want to help veterans. What do you think about that? Do you have any experience with dealing with veterans? Because we're a different community, right? We're not like regular civilians. We have different conditions that affect us, so on and so forth. So this doctor proceeds to say, well, Mr. Reid, I have, I'm doing my residency in forensics, and I have this particular background. And I'm in my head like, look, man, we're not CSI. We're not out here solving crimes, bro. Like, your forensics don't mean nothing to these veterans. So like,
It won't help. We just need to say, does this match cause this? But
right.
nobody wants to think it's a giant.
So long story short, I'm like, okay, so what pricing you talking about for doing this service and helping these veterans? Because by now I've reached out to a whole bunch of people, but I want to always have a backup in case one doctor gets sick or whatever. So one company I have somewhere else to send my veterans, so they're not waiting for this medical evidence. Because like Ali just said, medical evidence is what wins claims. It's gold. And if you find a doctor that's willing to help, they are a godsend, because one, the doctor, if they work for a company or a hospital, they may not be allowed to do Nexus. And it's not be a personal thing against veterans. They physically not allowed to do it. Some private doctors won't touch it because the moment they hear federal or claims, they don't want anything. Because sometimes
they're afraid that they may get stuck or subpoenaed by a judge, and they don't want to be a part of that.
Exactly. I even had some doctors say, I've been subpoenaed before. I don't mind doing that, especially for these veterans. And that's what I'm saying. Now with this company, the company that we worked for before, we didn't have the freedom to shop around and handpick certain doctors. We were only allowed to use a specific company, and that company may or may not have always been the best fit for that veteran, or that doctor may have not been the best fit, but now that veteran is locked into that contract because that's the only company that they're allowed to use. And Ali knows who I'm talking about there. But with us, you have the flexibility to go with any doctor, any state, any company. We have vetted them. They don't have any skin in the game. There's no kickbacks, nothing like that. Everything is on the up and up. And you don't have to do that legwork to try to find that medical evidence for yourself, because again, try going to the VA and get.
And that's huge. That's huge. As a veteran, you will spend a lot of time trying to find a doctor that will listen to you, write that Nexus letter, and understand what you're saying. That's the key to winning your claim.
Look, the day that we found we have providers that cover all the states, which is huge because telehealth, or like we're doing a Zoom call type of scenario, has been a game changer for veterans, because you and I both know, if you don't have to get up out of your bed to go deal with traffic and parking and the VA and that attitude you get sometimes when you go there, and you can stay in your own home and do your appointment via telehealth, more veterans are seeking help and getting the help they need and not going out there and messing up their lives even more. So with these companies, you can be one side of the country, you can still get access to a provider that's going to give you that service in all 50 states. And that's something that we're very proud to say, because like Ali said, it wasn't the first doctor we talked to or the second or the third. We had to do a lot of groundwork to find someone that we know will not only be empathetic, not only know the verbiage that the VA needs to hear and see on those letters to win your claim, but they understand that we as veterans have a different need than the typical lay citizen out there. And that's all I want. I don't want a veterans just to go pay for a service and get treated like the VA, or get, a doctor that's condescending or not letting them tell their truth. Because what's the point at that point? You can go to the VA and get that for free, right?
Right.
I was happy when the VA started using civilians because, man, when I first started my claim back in early 2000s, and you go to the VA hospital and you deal with like those government VA, they were mean. I mean, it was like you were walking into a interrogation room. It was like anything that they could do to just embarrass you. I mean, the attitude, they would cut you off. I mean, it was just like a cold feeling.
And sometimes it's because some veterans still get appointments with the actual VA, as far as exams and stuff. But for at least, right, for the most part, they're using these third-party doctors, which they're civilians, and they have a different bedside manner. They're typically, not the VA. They work for the VA, but they're not VA related or military half the time. So it's a different environment. So I remember what he's talking about. You're going to
Nice. Some of them, at least some of them are nice.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. The veterans are giving good feedback on these companies. And that's another thing which is good too. I think we don't need to be re-traumatized again. We already have these conditions. Now you're going to this doctor and now you're feeling like you're under the microscope. And that's half the reason why veterans don't open up, and then they end up getting underrated, because it's a double-edged sword. It's like a revolving door. You go in the military and you're trained, and Ali can attest to this, suck it up, drive on, don't complain, don't go to sick call. If you go to sick call, they're going to kick you out. They're going to call you a sick call ranger. Take this ibuprofen 800, this vitamin I with that broken arm, and kick rocks. Find out thing I ever seen. Look, you already know what time it is. So guess what? You get out of the military and you try to file a claim. What are they going to say to you? Oh, you never complained when you were in the military there,
Exactly.
It's not military related. Kick rocks, buddy.
When as I was being processed, I don't know where I was at. I was somewhere, and I remember this colonel. He was a full bird colonel, and he was dealing with the VA. And he walked in. I can't remember where I met him at, and he was pissed. And he's like, I spent like 30, 40 something years in the military, not going to the doctor, anything. And now I'm trying to file trying to file a claim. And they saying I don't have no medical evidence. He said, and he came to me, he said, I don't care what you do. Damn it, if you hurt, you go to the doctor for every damn thing. And he was just venting to me and telling me, and I always remember that. And that's why I went to the doctor and I kept my medical records.
Man, look, if they said that to us at when you raised your hand to join, or in basic before you get out, I'm telling you, the VA wouldn't have the staff to hold us back from filing claims. But everybody didn't have that Yoda.
Yes.
We used to say, you know what? Don't care what these people say. If you hurt your back, if you have a shaving profile, go ahead and document it, and keep your
People
record.
don't know, and I'm glad you brought that up because people don't know if you had to shave and you get bumps, there is a claim, pseudofolliculitis barbae. I claimed it.
This with the pseudo follicular, I love it.
Pseudofolliculitis, baby. Hey, I break out because I had to shave in the military. That's a 10% claim.
Not lying though. I'm sitting here, but look, I had a buddy. I think the highest I've seen for that is in it's 10% is pretty typical, because
Yeah.
let's keep it
It's
real.
not,
most part, to get higher than 10%, you and I know what you got to do. You got to sit there and shave, and then let that cauliflower
I
bump,
think,
and
I
that
think, I think for more than for the 30%, I think you got to have it in more than just your face. It's got to
you got
reach your face and it's got to go to back and some other places or whatever else. I think when I was researching it, I'm retired. I don't look at the stuff no more and do the research. I'm
I'm
100% P&T now, so I'm retired. So I don't do the research no more. But yeah, I used to be on it.
razor bumps, alopecia. There's a lot of little claims that I don't want to say little because even though the percentage may not be a lot, it doesn't affect your life only 10% of the time. Let's keep it real.
But what people don't realize though on that is they might think, well, that's petty, but no, I mean, I
No,
need that hydrocortisone cream. I get a package of hydrocortisone cream. What was it? Every 90 days or whatever. That's money. That's money I don't have to spend.
they, it's
And veterans don't understand that. For these claims will get you buying Motrin. That stuff is expensive. Uh, when you're getting pain allergies, I got allergic rhinitis. Do you know how much Zyrtec has went up to now? Zyrtec ain't $10 when I was in the 90s when I was buying in that for myself. Man, it was like $1 a pill. Zyrtec is $25 or better.
true story.
VA sends me and I have to have it. And like I said, this is a verified claim. I have to have these medications doing allergy season for my allergic rhinitis. And that saves me money right then and there when I hit the VA up. Oh, I'm out of pills and you getting that free. That's $25, $30 that's not out of my pocket.
Oh yeah,
Two, I fell was it last year, bust my head wide open or whatever. Uh I had to, I had we'll talk about that later. Anxiety episode. But anyway, I fell flat out at the barbershop, bust my damn head wide open. Had to go to the emergency room and I had my civilian insurance. But even after my civilian insurance, I still was hit with a $3,000 bill from the emergency room for all that they done. This is where your benefits come in because I'm 100% veteran or whatever. Hey, VA, I had to go to the emergency room. Oh, and that's very key. What I did not know then was you have 3 days to file your claim. If you get hurt or have to go to the emergency room, you have 3 days to file your claim to the VA.
and I'll get
Uh, I was later than that, but luckily they had mercy on me because I know I'm like, how the hell I was supposed to know? No one told me it was a time limit on this stuff.
Right.
And so yeah, they're like, no, 3 days, and then they like, you need to give that to somebody. If you incapacitated, somebody need to call the VA within 3 days and tell them you had this emergency going on. I didn't know that, but like I said, but they were good to me. Shout out to North Carolina Salisbury VA. But they took the claim. She's like, what's the hospital name? Let's call him right now. She called him. It was almost like calling him parent. Okay, charge this to us. He owe how much? This 3,000 something dollars. Okay, who we pay? Who we pay this to? Let's bill
right.
it and let's make this right. And then
Right.
two, urgent care benefits. It's been a couple of times here where I got sick strep throat and some other stuff where I've had to see my nearest urgent care provider. The VA give you something like 6 or 7 times a year that they don't pay for. And
Mm.
then, like I said, that was another $300 bill the VA picked up for me.
Uh-huh. Oh
All
yeah.
right,
And
Jay.
then
All right, so you said you and your wife y'all just now starting the business. How long y'all been up and running?
I want to say about a month now.
Okay,
So,
so new.
oh yeah, brand new. But the experiences that, like I said, man, I've been doing this for all. So let me go to the beginning, so kind of know how we got here, so the viewers and everybody else can understand how this even started. Because I was at 10% for 13 years, Mashad.
wow.
13, even further back. 9/11 happened while I was in boot camp. I had 2 weeks left of boot camp, bro.
Okay.
And goes down, drill sergeants are like, all right, privates. We thought he was playing. He's like, all right, privates. They showed us the footage like live. We in our BDUs, man, our uniforms. I'm 17. No, I just joined. I finished high school 3 months later. I'm in the military boot camp. The world was quiet.
I
Nothing
can
was going
remember 9/11. I was in college. I was in math class, and they cut on TV. They sent us home too. They sent everybody home that day, bro.
from that. I was like, man, why did I choose now? So the drill sergeant, you know what? Y'all gonna be in the desert about a couple months. he was a lion. I spent my 18th birthday in the desert, Thanksgiving, Christmas, the whole nine. Got stop loss, back, went to Iraq, the whole nine, right?
Yeah.
Fast forward, got out the military. I'm 22 years old. I'm still young. You know, when you're in your 20s, you think you can just stretch and go to the gym, keep your six pack, and the
Right.
aches and will just magically disappear. Nah, man. This stuff gets worse over time. You and I both know there ain't no 90-year-old jumping up and down saying I feel better than I felt when I was 40, right? That don't happen. So fast 13 years go by, still at 10% because I got in a Humvee accident in Afghanistan. And that was like Ali. I had somebody tell me, your back hurt? I was like, well, right now, he's like, your back hurt, bro?
Say yes.
Let me day or two. He was like, before the end of the week, I promise you your back gonna be hurting you. And not that I felt father false claim or nothing like that, but
Now you don't. Yeah, we're not advocating
don't,
filing any false claim. They will lock you up for that.
yeah, absolutely. Usually when you get these accidents, even in civilian life, you get in a car accident, you don't feel that whiplash until a day or two later. You can't get up. Like,
wait a minute.
in that case, I couldn't get up like a day or two later. When I got the sick call, that was in my record, thank God.
Nice.
10% when I got out, that's all I had. Thought that's all you get. You don't complain. Like, wrong. So work VACI was a company that found me the first time, and I had a coach, and they got me to 100% P&T. And with that, in 2 months, blown away. I learned the process from that, and I was able to step away from the bedside as a nurse and pay it forward and do this for veterans because my PTSD, my migraines, my back was making it harder to stay at the bedside. I can always go back in California and be a travel nurse, and my wife, same thing. She can go back and be an RT, and they are here sending us emails every day. You know, make $5,000 a week or whatever else to travel and work at whatever hospital because of the pandemic. Nurses they're in high demand. So we had a choice after what happened with VACI. You know, they kind of blindsided us and were like, hey, look, we know we gave you guys permission to move over to Panama. We gave you leave, but a year later, you got 30 days to get back to the States or move to some other country that we choose, or you're. So in that situation, look, I got 2 emotional support cats, man. I'm not embarrassed to say it. I love them little cats. I be getting stressed out. I just pet one, they start purring, and I start feeling better. Can't explain the science, y'all, but it works.
I used to have a cat too for a little while.
Man, just for their paperwork. So there was no way that me and my wife could make it back, pack up our lives over here, break a lease with the people we have in California, all that within 30 days. Nobody can do that. So the ultimatum was made for us, and we decided, no, we have 2 choices. We can try to go back and go back to the bedside, go back to the hustle and bustle, make good money. I have my 100%. That's always there, but I still want to live a comfortable life and not have to depend on that because I'm still young, man. Even though I'm 100% P&T, I'm still only 39. So I got a lot of life to live, but you want to be comfortable and do. And again, I'm gonna keep it real. That woman, my wife, she is one of the only reasons I'm here. Besides those 2 little cats. My dark days, that woman, you know, she emptied her bank account. She picked me up when family, friends, nobody was around, and she believed in me. She's like, you need to go back to VA. And she is the one that actually found VAC and encouraged me to go get my benefits because she's like, look, man, you're a good dude. You're a nurse. You're suffering in silence. You're always wincing all the time and trying to play tough guy. And you're taking it out on me when you come home from work, and I ain't having it. And she bad as hell. So I was like, you know what? Let me fix this. Happy wife, happy. I go down the road, and a lot of us have a good woman, and they give you these warnings. They're not gonna keep saying it over and over. One day you're gonna wake up, they're gonna be gone, and then you're gonna be on that like my veterans. Wife number 6 talking, and I should have kept that first one or that second.
Well, what do you do? Well, if she and I don't encourage any veterans, but don't tie up traffic. We don't want to read about you. You one of them veterans that got traffic held up because you on a bridge, want to jump. Go get help. Don't do it.
Absolutely, and a lot of it is they feel like there's no hope. Like true story, veterans all the time be able to try to decrease their benefits after time. For instance, if they don't go seek treatment or whatever. I had a lady that they dropped her rating just because she went to an appointment and said she was doing okay that day. They dropped her.
Now was she permanent? Now was she permanent in total?
She was not, and that's the thing. That's why you want to get to 100% P&T like you are and I am, because then you're in the untouchables. No matter how much time goes by, they can't drop your rating, they can't reevaluate you, they can't do any of that. No more future exams. So I call it untouchables because that's what you want to be. You can be 100%, but if you're not permanently in total or P&T, they can reevaluate you and drop your ratings and open up other claims. And that's where a lot of veterans get nervous when they get to that 100% or that 90, because they know the VA can be right over their back, like waiting to drop something else. So what we do, yeah, go ahead, Sean.
I was on disability. I have keratoconus. I had a cornea transplant, so I'm legally blind. I was getting my benefits after the first transplant. They was like, "Oh, let's reevaluate it. Oh, it seemed like your situation getting better." They just totally cut me off, bro. I was like, "What the fuck?"
The one suffering with it every day. Nobody can tell your story better than you, right? But they made this decision. Somebody
like, "What you mean it got better? I still can't see shit."
like we're suffering with this stuff, man. Whether it be VA benefits, disability benefits, like. And that's why we want to make sure that we take care of the whole veteran, because you're not the first one, brother, to complain about. And I think it's even harder to get Social Security benefits versus VA benefits. To be quite honest with you, I tried back in the day. They looked at my age. They didn't care how broken I was on the inside.
Yeah. Like, take the path to work.
40 years now. Nah, you're not getting this. But I feel you on that. They look at the outside, right? They can't tell what you can see by looking at you, right? They think you're just fine. You know what I mean?
A lot, I get hit with that a lot of times. People are like, oh, you faking, you misusing the VA, and it's like you don't know what my conditions are by looking at me. I'm like, every condition I got, I can prove, and it ain't no getting better into my conditions and everything. You know, a lot of people don't know, which VA is real good about that. You know, with my anxiety. You know, you know what I got, but you know, anxiety. And so it's like, you know, every few months, yeah, I have to sit down and them psychiatrists, I be on me. They want to know, hey, how is this? How is your anxiety doing? How are you doing? And it's like I hate those conversations, but well, you gotta have them. So they check my mental health every 3, 4 months, whatever. And matter of fact, I was in Maryland, and that doctor, he called me the other. He just handed me off to North Carolina or whatever. And, you know, hey, do we need meds? Do we need anything else like that? You know, people don't realize that some people are ashamed to say that, but you know me, I have no filter. I ain't ashamed of anything.
Because that's exactly what it takes to get the job done. It's like, and is I harp on the healthcare background because a lot of times males or females will come and try, and they don't want to open up. And the moment I say, well, I have this background, there's nothing you can tell me that I haven't seen or done, whether it be being a nurse, being a veteran, they nothing be working in the ICU and the ER and the OR and stuff. So trust me, nothing's gonna gross me out or make me. You gotta get this, because if you can't say it in front of me and I'm have your best interests at heart, what's gonna happen when you get in front of the VA? They can't rate you for what they don't know as much as they hold us
You
up.
have
You
to
know,
realize that you don't know what a person going through. So, you know, a lot of people around me and they're like, oh, nothing wrong with you. But you put a person in certain situations.
right,
Like put me in a situation where I'm cornered in and there's a crowd. Then
right,
you start to see me get antsy. You start to see me sweat. You start to see me snap. You start to see my mood change in certain situations that go on.
all
You
day.
know, I'm not the same. It's like I can't control it. Matter of fact, I went to the VA a few months ago. I had to have that exam, and so you know if you ever had, well you ain't old enough yet. Y'all some young whippersnappers, but keep living. You gonna have that
I
exam. And
know.
so basically, I don't like needles, and he was trying to run an IV in me to put me to sleep, and he missed. And he kept going in my hand trying to do it, and I wasn't in any pain. And all of a sudden, I felt my blood. It's like blood just started going in my head, and I was getting in there, and I was finna pass out. I literally my anxiety when it kicks, I literally was like, "Oh God!" I'm finna pass out. I can't do this or whatever. And they couldn't give me water, and so he had to get another nurse in there, and she had to give me IV in my arm, and he's like, "You're gonna be knocked out in a minute, so it ain't gonna matter." And he was right. We're gonna get you to the back or whatever. But you know, it's situations like that where I was damn nothing to pass out. I couldn't breathe. And like I said, when I fell and it bust my head or whatever, like they were through my, I had stomach cramp, whatever. And even now, when just going to the barber shop, there's certain times when I sit in the barber shop where I have to sit there and I have to just breathe. It's like, I got the thing around my neck and I'm sitting there and it's like, okay, just breathe. You can do this. It's not gonna be bad. And people don't get to see all of that, and people try to judge just based on generality and don't realize that I might
But
be a
people,
little nuts.
I live by that, bro. Like you got your life to live. But people think about you at a certain point. Once you get to the point in life where you know who you are and you know what you deal with every day, what people think, that's what holds us back. We worry too much about what people think. And that's a lot of reasons why we don't get help too, whether it be veteran or non-veteran. We know we got the problem, but look, I don't want people to label me. I don't want people to say,
Exactly.
I don't want people to say that I'm that lunatic or that angry black vet or that angry white vet or angry Spanish or whatever race you're at. We don't want that label. We don't want that stigma. But at the same time, we need the help. So
You do.
what's worth it?
You can't be ashamed of it.
Guess what? Embarrassment lasts how long? On average, it doesn't last your whole life continuously, but guess what? Those benefits and that money in your bank account, that's for the rest of your life. So what I
Get that
tell them,
access to that health, and that's the thing. It's not
exactly.
only just about the money. You got to have access to the health. And matter of fact, I went to. They thought I may needed a root canal. Uh,
So
I'm not working at the time. VA paid for that. They actually sent me to a civilian specialist to have me evaluated to see do I really need a root canal or whatever. And I hear a lot of veterans say like, "Oh, ain't nothing wrong with me," or if I'm not in a wheelchair, I don't need benefits."
the wrong thing.
Lies.
Oh yeah. Because guess what? If you wait till you're hunched over at 70 or whatever, and then to go to the VA and say, okay, now that I can barely get out of my couch, let me go try to get some benefits. As young people, the VA benefits process stresses you out. Your whole adult life is pretty much gone. You didn't get to enjoy retirement. You didn't get to enjoy your adult life because you were sucking it up and not taking benefits from other veterans. When guess what? Those other veterans are going and getting their benefits and retiring earlier and being like me and being like Ali and wiping off student loans and going and living and traveling and actually getting
And you
to
mentioned that.
and not have that headache of, oh my God, if I take a day off of work, I can't pay my light bill, I can't pay my mortgage.
Right.
It's the work-life balance, it's a lot. So, all that being said, that sounds great, but going back to the point, we had a choice to make whether we go back and do the healthcare thing or keep going and doing this, because legally in Panama, we can't take jobs from Panamanians. So I can't go into a Panamanian hospital and say I want to work as a nurse. So they left us pretty much jobless over here. And if we try to go back, we don't have the home because it's being rented out. So we'll be stranded either way. So we say, you know what? Let's come together like we always do. She has my back, I have hers, and our veterans, they got the help they need. Like Ali can tell you, I treat all my veterans just like how I treat him. You guys aren't just claims or whatever else. The other thing is that people want to know how much, right? That's always the thing. Because
Big
again,
key.
I want to look, I want to help everybody, but I still got to look my wife in the eye and honor her sacrifice and give her that land with the goats and chickens that I promised her over here that they try to crush my dreams and dreams deferred. But, with us, if you're from a certain pedigree and a certain cloth, it's how you respond to things, right? I could sit there and wallow, get mad, I eat all the above, but that doesn't put food on the table. That doesn't help these vets. That doesn't help me keep my word and do what I
Why you
promise.
mentioned that? Me and Shu had that exact conversation about a few hours ago.
Here you go, man. So here we are. So other companies out there may be doing the same thing. One, they may not be accredited people. Two, they may not have the credentials behind them, and the VA may be investigating them. I'm gonna just leave that there. So with us, you have the peace of mind to know that everything is on the level. We have the credentials to back us up. We have the healthcare background, plus have the veteran side background too, have the experience in helping with claims. And we're doing it we try to look at other companies out there to try to see how much other companies are charging. I know I wish I had started this thing a long time ago because they would have been better for you, Ali. But hey, I paid my 6 times the increase when I got my 10 to 100. It's changed my life. I can't go back and change time. But I know that we can do this for way more affordable prices and not have veterans, paying a car, just to get help with the benefits. So the lowest we found out there, I think, was 5 times the increase. And guess what we're doing it for? 3. So 3 times.
Man, I wish you had your own company when I was filing. 3 times, that's half of what I paid.
You go 3 times the increase, man. Again, I'm not trying to have no 10-car garage and be out here like I'm in Dubai balling out of, but just want to help veterans, use my background, use my expertise, do what I think we've been called here to do, because there's a lot of people out there doing this again, and they're not doing right by these veterans. They're taking their money and ghosting.
Can you get an example? Some veterans might have got, I don't know, missile went off too close to their head or whatever, and they don't really know what is he talking about? 3 times the increase. Can you break that down for those veterans?
And I'll use simple math. So say a veteran is at 40%. They come to us, we help them get an increase on their benefits, and now their compensation goes up to 60%. So the difference between what they're getting paid at the 60% rate as a single vet and the 40% rate, you minus the 60 from the 40, and then times the difference times 3, and that's all you owe. Now, case by case basis, some veterans may need medical evidence up front. Those veterans will have to pay, of course, those independent doctors whatever fees they have. But as far as Reidinhealth is concerned, we as a company, we only charge you that. So 6 times the increase. If you need in-depth consultation and you have a complicated case, then we could do case by case basis. You may need to do a consultation fee, because again, every claim is not built the same. But at the bottom line of it, you're still half the price of what you would do.
Like I said, 6 times the increase, and I know a lot of the veteran groups were hating on the previous company that you worked with.
Absolutely.
Because I personally was in some of those veteran sites on Facebook, and some of those veterans was going in there and they were going back and forth. And I mentioned your previous company and how I was helped, and they blocked. They took it and they would remove the company. They would remove my comment that I would make. When I say, well, this person helped me, they're not every veterans. I'm like, no, the upfront fee is worth it. And I'm like, I paid 6 times my increase, and it was hefty. Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I put it out there to the veterans. It was, my increase was like 8 grand.
Right.
With the discount, paying it up front. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
but what is 8 grand? People.
Right.
Okay, I had an attorney that I had for over 10 years that done zero, waiting for 20% of my back pay. I had somebody that had the incentive to say, "Hey, I'm gonna hurry up and get this court moving, because you don't make money unless I can make the increase." So
Exactly.
you can even technically with the back pay, you can even pay the 6 times with the back pay, and in your case even cheaper, the 3. You can either use your back pay, or they have payment options. And I'm not sure, do you have payment options where you can pay
Absolutely.
all year?
We're a family-owned business, man. We're not a big corporation. We're not a machine. We don't have 200 employees to pay. So everything is case by case. Everything can be tailored to that veteran's needs. So that's why I said I understand how it goes. Again, I've been doing this for almost 4 years. So not every veteran may have their back pay sorted out, because sometimes the VA messes up back pay, for instance. And that's another reason why a lot of companies are in trouble to include our former employee, because that whole, encouraging veterans to use their back pay or charging them interest, stuff like that. All that stuff is not above board. And we found out all that doing our own research and trying to do this the right way, and not have the inspector general or attorney general or whoever else in our business, because legally, I think 30% or less is what you're allowed to charge veterans if you're not accredited, if you don't have the credentials to back you up. With us, we have the healthcare credentials, so we can charge a certain amount for consultation fee and up to 30% or so off of what the veteran makes as an increase legally. We're finding all this out now, because before everything was, oh, this is how we've been doing it. There was no investigation. Everything was so I feel like it's the universe or God or karma, whatever you want to call it, as a way of plucking us out of there and getting us in a situation where we can do this the right way, and not just the right way, do it where it's affordable, where you don't have that bad taste in your mouth after you win, and you can't enjoy your win as much because you're like, God damn it, I got this $15,000 bill to pay or this $9,000 bill to pay, and that monkey's on your back, versus getting the help you need, getting it at elite level, professional, everything you want, experience, whatever, compassion, understanding, all that, and in record time as well. Not saying I can control how fast or slow the VA does things, but I know from my experience, and from Ali can attest to it, I don't put my name on anything. I don't say anything I don't feel like I can back up. And that's just from my experience with this VA process. Some veterans won't get to 100%. That's just the reality. It's not every veteran is, and that's what I would say too. We don't encourage people to file claims just because they want to take money from the VA. If we figure out or we get whiff that you're lying about a condition and your contract is terminated immediately, we drop you, done and done. We're not even entertaining that. Everything, again, is above board. You get the benefits you deserve legally.
Go to jail.
And exactly, legally, morally, and ethically. That's her license, that's that veteran's benefits, because once you get on their blacklist for filing a false claims, you can forget trying to file a claim in the future. That's done. That's a wrap after that. So you don't want to get caught up in that. So that's why I say we sit down, we talk to you, we find out what conditions you have, what you've been suffering with, what you've been diagnosed with, and we tailor the strategy just for that veteran. And sometimes some veterans, it may take 2 months, some may take a year, some may take 2 years, depending on what desk your claim lands on. But the not giving up is the part. So I know we're coming up to time here, so I just want to say, really, really appreciate you guys, give me a platform here to talk about this stuff and spread the word too. Like you said, those forums that you're talking about, we're trying to get plugged into those and let people know that, not every company out there is trying to rob you or, trying to take advantage of your situation, knowing that getting help for claims is something that not everybody's willing to do. It's a lot of work. As far as veterans may think, oh, I'm the one going to the appointments, I'm the one, going to the exams, but in our arena, we're the ones looking through your stuff and making sure you have the right plan, making sure you go into the appointments expressing your symptoms in the right way, not saying things that will get your claim denied because you didn't know how to express it. I'll give you a quick example and I'll leave this here. And this is how important it is to have people that understand patients and understand veterans. Veteran was going into the VA filing for tinnitus. That's that ringing in your ears, right? A lot of us get that. Years and years. Yeah, he was going into the VA, but what he was telling them was he was hearing whispers. Now, a psychologist hearing that will say, well, you're schizophrenic. If you're hearing whispers and voices, what he meant to describe was, sometimes people hear a ringing, sometimes people may hear like a whooshing sound, like that. That's what he was hearing, but he was describing it as whispers. So they were misdiagnosing this man for eons. And then he came to me and was like, look, bro, that's not what's happening to you. Nobody's telling you to do things or hurt nobody or hurt yourself or do things you don't want to do. That's schizophrenia, a completely different diagnosis. You're going to make people put you on medications for no reason. What you just told me, whooshing is not the same thing as whispers. You got to be very careful. It's like court. Anything you say or do,
it will be. They will do it. Yes.
So that's where the expertise comes in there. And it was like a light bulb moment. Something so simple, one word, semantics, right? Just wordplay. They will take whatever and run with it. And then you're stuck in this hamster wheel for years, not knowing why, thinking you're doing something wrong when you're just not explaining stuff right, or you don't have that understanding of the symptoms. So that's what we're here for. Besides getting the benefits, is just making people understand their symptoms, live a better quality life, understand why their back issue is connected to their attitude, or their ringing in the ears is connected to their headaches, or all that other good stuff. It's all connection. So appreciate you guys. And any questions, any concerns, need my link or information, you know how to get a hold of me, and we'll take care of our veterans and take care of anybody you send our way.
We'll have all the links definitely in our description.
Go ahead.
It's always a pleasure speaking with you, JReid. I told you we're gonna have to come out there and do some live in Panama.
Absolutely, man.
This is what we do this podcast for, to bring this type of information. Like I said, serious conversation and business go down after 5. This is what we call this lifestyle after 5.
Yeah.
And you are definitely one of the key innovators and key to helping veterans enjoy that lifestyle after 5.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Michelle. I know you're gonna say something.
I said, man, we salute you, bro. It's definitely dope what you're doing. Y'all definitely filling the lane that needs to be filled. And we wish you good luck and prosperity, bro. I hope y'all make it.
Means more than you guys know, man. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the support. And life is all about that kindness. You know, somebody showed me a kindness and I got to where I am. And this is what life is about. Ali got shown that kindness and he's paying it forward. And same thing with you, Marshad. Now you have some knowledge, you have this platform. I'm sure you're paying it forward in your way. But definitely, we're gonna definitely be looking into other avenues, whether it be when veterans win their claims, how to move to another country, because we're over here and we're kind of living a different life. That SSI, you know, Social Security benefits, all that stuff that Reidinhealth Inc. is going to try to get there because we want to take care of the whole person. And again, we want to open up to not just veterans and other people as well, and take care of our brothers and sisters, man, because we're disenfranchised out there, veteran or not. Benefits that a lot of us are owed, that if you don't know how to navigate that system, it'll drive you literally crazy, and that's not what we want.
I'll tell you, I gave up. I stopped for a while. I was like, man, I just don't want to deal with it no more. You know, it's like it's just a same questions, the same headache. I'm like, bro, shit, you know what? I don't even want it now. Hold on.
They want, and it's the same thing with the VA process. And Ali could tell you, once you give up or you pass away, they win. You know, they keep their money, and they're hoping that we give up. And I'm not saying that I'm gonna tell you to go in there and keep knocking that.
I'm back on their ass now. Don't worry, I'm back on their head already.
Ali has my information, and that's nothing we look up to. Try to find somebody to get you some help with the SSI. There's people that specifically do that may be able to help you out versus you trying to do it on your own and hitting that brick wall, man. It may cost you something up front, but it may be worth it to get those benefits the rest of your life. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Okay. Because it's your vision, man. You don't want to play around with that for sure.
I was automatically, because it was my vision, I was automatically approved. It wasn't no wait period or nothing.
It's good.
I still have it. It's like what I have is genetic. I can't get rid of it. So I like another cornea transplant in 10 years or less. So I was like, it didn't go nowhere.
Right.
Like,
just because you had a surgery or just because a procedure doesn't mean you're fixed. And that's another thing that they try to pull on you, whether it be the VA or whether it be regular insurance. Surgery doesn't always fix you. It may.
I had to tell them, I said, man, I still can't get my driver's license. Like the doctor was like, no, you can't. So obviously, I still have an issue.
I hear you, bro. So I wish you all the best, man. With that, I know my heart goes out. You know that
always. And Jay, you're always welcome after Fire the podcast. We definitely gonna have to bring you back to get up some more knowledge.
Oh yeah, this
on veterans.
There's so much in this process out there. So much nugget. I always call myself a clumsy burglar. You gotta have a bag to catch all these jewels. You know, that we definitely, man. And I appreciate you being that voice to second that by your own experience. It's not just me here blowing hot air to you guys. Like, this man is living, breathing proof that the process can work. We know what we're doing. I had him covered, and I'll take care of my veterans just the same, no matter who you are, no matter age, race, creed. It's all about getting what you legally, morally, and ethically deserve. And Reidinhealth Incorporated will do that for you.
Keep on the good work.
Another lifestyle out the fire conversation with grown folks, kings and queens, come to have a positive conversation, get their knowledge, and move on and elevate themselves to the next level. Until next time, it's your boy Ali and my man MDRedd sitting around there. Get that MDRedd and brain. You see them shoes. JReid, you take care and you stay safe.
Man.
I'll let y'all. Peace.
Peace.